Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. We come to you live each and every day here on KDSJ Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And, Saturday, Arkansas won a very big ball game in Bud Walton Arena, the 1994 National Championship 25th year celebration. And what an atmosphere it was. Arkansas was able to come out of that 74-73 winners over the Ole Miss Rebels. A big win, for a team, a young basketball team that was coming into the game on a sixth game losing skid. A lot of talk around their coach. Talks of those types of things, which I think that there's not a lot of worry on that end. But Demetrius, I was a little disappointed in the ceremony. You would think after 25 years, that to me Saturday was just could have been better, but we caught up with Coach Nolan Richardson, and here's what Nolan had to say. We caught up with him on Saturday morning, and here's some little tidbits and bits and pieces of what we were able to hear from the GOAT.
Nice to see you, the young men that you brought them at 18 or 17 to the campus, and now you're seeing them their grandfathers. That tells you how old I've gotten to be. But and every time we connect, it's like we've never been apart. I mean, it only takes about 5 seconds to put your eye on one, and you know his whole life story. That's the incredible part of athletics, and that's the incredible part about being a coach and being able to look over what has happened over the past and bring it up to the future and be proud of each and every one of them. That's incredible. I had a wonderful night. Not really, probably like 155 years. But no, it's something that you can never forget, simply because, as I spoke with those guys, is that a couple of those players never knew what not going to the final game was. Like Al Dillard, he played the national championship team and the runner-up team. And I said, it's incredible how many people have forgotten you guys finished second. That's second doesn't mean a whole lot. Today, market, anyone get a chance to be just to the Final Four is the greatest thing you can accomplish. And so that group that was here last night and will be here today had accomplished that, and that's just incredible. That you can never take away from them.
No particular themes for the get together last night, or that you guys were talking about? Or?
No, I don't think there was any. I think everyone had their stories. It started off with a minnow, which is a small bait to fish with, and they turn into whales. So, but that happens over a period of years when you're telling the story, and it just continued to grow. So I enjoyed the few they told last night on me, and I probably was probably worse than their nightmare that they'd ever had. But to me, that's how I build character and build toughness, and it's a building process, and those processes you see them not when they're playing basketball, but after what happens, and that's our reward. To me, the coach's reward is what you see after it's over with, not during the period.
Nolan, can you talk about the impact Rose had on these guys? Her influence on the players through the years.
Rose was an incredible person when it came to my job and what I had to do and what she had to do to help me. We were very fortunate to have Yvonne with us and our sons, but the thing that she was always very adamant about, if they came over to the house, I better not talk about basketball. Nothing. This is my house. Your gym is over there at Bud Walton. So she was that type of person, and I think the guys respected and liked that about her. We were a family that I had 3 jobs in my life. I won national championships at all 3 of them. And she's never been so proud of the fact that they asked me the question, and she laughed because she knew how happy I was when we won the National Junior College Championship. So you couldn't believe how happy you were. And when you won the NIT at Tulsa, you couldn't believe how happy you was. And then when you won the NCAA championship, you don't believe how happy you were. So it just kept going. It got better and better, or it was the same or whatever, but you were very pleased and very happy. And not a lot of folks can say that.
Last night, again, your players talked about is that we talked to you know last summer about that, but how important would that be for you if that ever gets done?
Well, the thing about Nolan Richardson is that I never go into anything expecting anything to come out of it for me in a way where someone names something after me. If you have to petition to name something after me, I don't particularly care to have anything of that nature. You know, I've been blessed. I've been inducted in the 13 Hall of Fames. That goes on what I've done and accomplished. It has nothing to do with who likes you or who don't like you. School named after me in my town in El Paso, middle school. I'm very proud of that school, the Nolan Richardson Middle School. You know, recreation centers, streets, you name it. That has been done, and I didn't live in El Paso. I've lived in Arkansas over 30 years. Over 30 years. So all my claims of working a major college, 17 years here, happened in Arkansas, basically. But the community in which I grew up, and they know who I am, basically, are the ones who have been able to put whatever they want to. For on the floor, it's Bud Walton's arena, and he paid his money to have that arena built. I know that our teams had a lot to do with it. I know that when I came here, there was 8,000 seats or 9,000 seats in Barnhill, and then it went to the point of 19,600 people, 5,000 to 6,000, 7,000 people on the waiting list. That was incredible. Matter of fact, when they were talking about billing it, I was suggesting 15,000, and I wanted 15,000 so we could host maybe an NCAA tournament. In those days, you had to have an arena at least seat 15,000. But when they went up to 19,600 and we had 20,000 in the building at times, that was incredible. Of course, the days are not the same as it was yesteryear. You didn't have every game on television. You didn't have the price going up as high, maybe. You couldn't take your family of four to a game.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk, and we let you hear a little extended audio from our media availability Saturday morning at the practice facility with Coach Nolan Richardson and several of those 1994 National Championship brothers. But we'll be in shortly with more audio. We caught up with Clint McDaniel, and before we play audio, I want to bring in my co-host Demetrius Johnson, and Clint's gonna really say some strong stuff about the program that from based on what we heard in talking to Clint on Saturday. How supportive are you? I'm 100% behind it. I think more of coaches, former players should come out with that being said. Where are you at with that?
I believe in it 100%, and I think it's an honor for Coach Richardson to have players that really stand up for him the way he did, because I think Clint's going to get a lot of backlash for that, but I think it didn't matter to him because he understood he wouldn't be where he is without this man. So how can you credit me as a player and not credit my coach? So I think that was just a sign of respect that I think Clint and a lot of the other former players are really going to take on as time progresses and they don't get his name on the court.
It just baffles me when I look at this situation for all that Coach Richardson, all the notoriety, all the branding that he brought to the University of Arkansas, for this man not to have his name on that floor. It's quite obvious for those that are my age and have come before me, maybe a little older. We know we're the real branding of Arkansas basketball. Eddie Sutton was a great coach, but when Nolan Richardson came here in 1984-85, college basketball and college expectations of basketball at the University of Arkansas, as we know it, changed, and and forever will never be the same. And Coach Anderson said it best in his press conference with us last week prior to the Ole Miss game. Those teams that go out and play, these Arkansas teams of the future, they are playing that 94, that expectation. And so with that being said, when you look at John McDonald, national championship coach, statue,
right,
named after
and
him.
The thing that gets me is that Nolan is the only coach to win a major program, national championship. A lot of people give credit to that 1965 or 1964 football team, but that was a self-proclaimed championship. That was not we won the championship game, so we have been crowned the champions. That was we were undefeated and we beat Texas, so we're the champions. So I think just in that, and not only did he go to the championship, he contended for the championship, almost 3 years straight. So that to me is just more credibility to even further the argument of why his name should be on a court.
You go over a 7-year stretch from Sutton to Richardson compared to any other coach on this campus. Nolan Richardson, 29 losses in conference over a 7-year period. That's roughly about 3 or 4 conference. That's almost about a 13-3 average record in over a 7-year period. I mean, 3 Final Fours, multiple Sweet 16s, 2 national championship games, a runner-up, a national title, multiple conference titles, multiple conference tournament championship titles. And for this man to 25 years later not be recognized as the best coach in Arkansas basketball history, I mean, it's long overdue. It's very, very it's bad PR. And, we thought we caught up with another starter and another SEC legend, Clint McDaniel. We'll let you hear Clint's excerpts and come back and brief you on it. And then, in the next segment, we'll take you on into the ball game, and I'll let you hear from Coach Mike Anderson, Daniel Gafford, and sophomore Jalen Harris on their thoughts on Saturday 74-73 win. But kicking it over to Clint McDaniel, in his words, it's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479.
Live. You good? Everybody good? Yes, sir.
25 years, man. Does it seem like it?
It does seem like it, but it's great that you can come back and share things with your coaches, your teammates, your family, everyone that attended the university. It's an awesome feeling, and we appreciate it every time we're able to come back.
Listen to part of your speech last night. Just the need to put Nolan's name on that court and how important that is to you guys.
I mean, it's very important that he's recognized somewhere. So if it's on the court, if it's a statue, something that has to do with Coach Richardson and what he means to us as players, not the championship team, but all the players that has played with him in junior college, in Tulsa, wherever he's coached. I mean, he's just a special man, and people need to know how special he is.
How important is that to you players, all you former players, not just this team, that he gets recognized for what he did for this university?
Well, what he's done for everyone. I'm just not going to lessen it down to just the university, just who he is as a man, where he's come from. His story is inspiring for any young player coming up, anybody in the past, anybody in the future. It's inspiring. If you go and you see his name, then you'll look up his history and you'll be inspired by what he has done, and that needs to be recognized because he has accomplished so much.
Going into that Duke game for the national championship, is there anything, maybe pregame, locker room, that you can remember?
It was always the same way. It was always the same way. We're going to go out and we're going to play with dog with rabies. That's what Coach used to say. We're going to go out and we're going to play like dog with rabies. And we're going to come out and we're going to start and we're going to finish. And that's what we did. We were a group of guys who he was led by him. And you know, the things that he taught us and the work ethic, it was always we're going to work out here in the practice and then we're going to take it into the game. And it was the same way every single time.
Where were you when Scotty takes the shot?
Underneath the basket, eating popcorn. So when he made that shot, it was again unbelievable. And just another big shot, clutch shot. What we've seen Scotty do for the past 2-3 years.
Coach made a lot of speeches, Clint, during your time here. But that national championship speech, before you guys took the court, do you remember the words that he spoke to you guys?
Well, I mean, it was always us against the world. We were playing in their backyard. We didn't get our normal shoot-around time, and it was just he always made us feel like we had a large chip on the shoulder. So it was just the same thing. It's us against the world. Let's go out. No one expects us to be here, and just keeping us on edge is what got us there.
Did you ever view yourself?
Welcome back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill here of OTH. We come to you each and every day on KDSJ 479, 1 to 2 p.m. And we let you hear audio from former Arkansas 1994 starting shooting guard Clint McDaniel on, just his thoughts on the Nolan Richardson court. It also has been noted, Clint announced yesterday that he will not be back at any other Arkansas Razorback functions until Nolan has been given his just due. And where are you at, Demetrius? I know you're of an age where you really don't understand that, and I understand a lot of young adults are vastly out of the loop on this. From based on what you've read, what you've heard from me, been around certain media outlets when they speak on this topic, and then Clint McDaniel comes out. We've talked to Corey Beck on that matter. After gaining all the information, where are you at?
I mean, I think it's self-explanatory just from the last segment. I think just off the history, even if you don't know what this man's done outside of Arkansas, just for the simple things that he's done at Arkansas and the type of players that he put not only in the league but overseas, you will understand why these guys are coming out in the way they are. These guys are prestige players here. They are very honored players at the University of Arkansas. And like I said, I don't understand how you can value the players but not value the man that really created these guys, gave these guys character, gave these guys opportunity to be great and to even give Arkansas that national championship. So again, I think it's all self-explanatory. You can go Google Nolan Richardson and you can see not just the impact that he had on the court, but for African Americans in general. When you look at that time, it was unheard of to have an African American coach win. And I think a lot of people even forget. Doug Williams winning the Super Bowl. That's almost what Nolan Richardson is to college football, basketball. He's that one African American coach when it was unheard of, and that wasn't a thing, to go and do the impossible, and that was to win a national championship. Not only to win a national championship, it was almost David and Goliath to go beat Duke. Duke was a reverend and still is a reverend school. So I think, like I said, it's self-explanatory when you just take the time to look at this man's resume.
When you look at all the national championship collegiate basketball coaches, to a man, they have their name on their court. Nolan Richardson, I grew up, I watched it. I'm a summer coach when I'm not doing a show or reffing. A lot of what Nolan, his philosophies during his coach career, I implement with my summer teams. I mean, that's the type of impact he had on me as a young teenager, and even to this day, an adult. I'm not a young adult, but I'm an adult. But just the way that he was able, and he was so charismatic, and Scotty, and when you talk to the players, in their words, you can just see the effect and how much they love and how much passion that they have for Coach Richardson, not only as their coach, but as a guy and a man that, showed them how to be a great father, how to be a great husband. All those types of things will go into being a coach, and how they talk in reverence of him 25 years later, and you got players coming out saying that they're going to sacrifice some of their memories so that you can endure and enjoy some of what you've done over your long, illustrious coaching career. For a coach to won a national championship in junior college, you won an NIT championship, and you won a national championship. If that's not worthy of a name being on the court, and I agree, we all know why Bud Walton was expanded. It was Nolan Richardson's brand of basketball, and do the right thing, administration. It's long overdue. Being an African American, I speak for multiple African Americans and Razorback fans of all nationalities across the country. Do the right thing and honor Nolan Richardson because he's the best coach that's ever been at the University of Arkansas, and it's time to acknowledge that. Quit hiding it. Name on the court, statue, something, but administration at the University of Arkansas, do the right thing. But we're going to step away and let you hear Coach Mike Anderson. He came in and he's going to talk post Ole Miss. There was a lot of relief in Coach's voice. And then we're going to follow that up with our good buddy, Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit.
Yes. Okay. All right, thank you.
Very good. Coach, you start off, please.
Well, what a finish, and we always talk about players making plays. We've been in some situation where we did make plays. You know, you go back to the Kentucky game, we didn't make plays going down the stretch. We didn't make free throws, but I thought this afternoon, we did a good job of making consecutive stops. The jump ball that took place, and I think before that, I think Desi deflected a pass that we came up with, big plays, and then then you got the one with the jump ball, and of course, with Jalen making a play there at the end there. But now you got almost 6 seconds on the clock. You got to be able to make a defensive stop. And I thought Jalen did a good job of making Tyree work for the basketball. And Gabe did a good job of helping and coming up with that loose ball at the end. And so a game that went back and forth. Ole Miss was a really good basketball team. We played them early in the year, and knowing that they're going to come in with those scores that they have. And Tyree was trying to take over by himself. But we had enough in us to get stops. The thing I like about it is we didn't panic. We didn't panic. We stayed the course. And when you stay the course and trust what you're doing, eventually it should come out hopefully the way that you want it to come. But I thought our guys fought and left it on the floor. Great to have the national championship team here. A lot of memories. Coach Richardson, Hall of Fame coach, here in attendance. So what better way to they saw a great game, a game that went back and forth, and we had one more stop in us, and we were fortunate to win the game.
Yeah, Mike, Jalen's been in a lot of those final second situations, and a lot of times it hadn't gone well, but he said he appreciated the faith you showed in him, giving him the ball again. He said you want to get the ball to Daniel, but he had to make a play. Just kind of from your standpoint, how'd that play go down and the job Jalen did?
Well, actually, Dan came open on the side, but he actually I think he got a ball screen away from them, and little be known, Isaiah was coming out to be open on the left side, and I think he stepped on the guy's foot, and a couple of guys went with him, and then the lane opened up. And to me, it was an open up, and Jalen saw the opportunity to get to the basket and made a nice floater to finish it. So, again, it's about guys making plays. You got some action going this direction, but the other direction is where you want to go, and he made a play.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, and we normally have our next guest on game days, but there's so much going on, and we thought we'd have him on a day earlier. Arkansas was able to come out of Bud Walton Arena on the 25th anniversary of the 1994 National Championship Team celebration, 74-73, and we want to talk about it because we talk about everything else with my guy, good and bad, Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Scotty, welcome back, my man.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Scotty, they finally, won a conference game in the second half of this SEC slate. Arkansas, opened up the conference slate 0-6. Was able to get this 1-point win, and it seems like, finally was able to get over the hump. So many times here over the last several ball games they've been in it in the last 2 or 3 minutes, but could never come through. In particular, Jalen Harris. Talk about, J5 and just is this the best game in the second half of the season that you've seen J5 play?
I think the Missouri game at Missouri, outside of I think the last possession when Arkansas was down 1, it didn't get anything close to what they wanted. I think he had 10 assists and 1 turnover in that game. I know Missouri shorted him 5 assists in that game. So the initial box score, they had him with 5 assists and 1 turnover, but he ended up with 10 that game. I think that was his best floor game. I think probably since then. I wrote the other day that he didn't finish well in the lane at all last month. I think he was 8 of 28 in the paint according to the shot chart that I have on him, and he was 3 of 4 yesterday in the paint, including the game winner. I think it was just he kind of got over that mental hurdle. He's Isaiah's man. Was kind of trailing him on the perimeter after he rolled his foot. Terrence Davis and Vontae Schuler kind of ran into each other, and they kind of opened up a lane for him. And, he credited a couple of grad assistants, Belton Kennedy and Trey Thompson, for that game-winning teardrop he put over Olanichek the other day. So he knew he had to get it high or it was going to get blocked. So all around, it was a really good game for Jalen. And, he did it in front of his dad, too, so that had to be a pretty special feeling for him.
Scotty, when you look at this basketball team over the last 3 or 4 games, the shot selection and the percentages from the floor have gone up. Yesterday on Saturday, Arkansas shot pretty much 50%. For the entire game. Talk about that. Is it more so the shot selection, or just that they're really starting to work things out and realizing, get the ball to the guys offensively that are making plays in that particular possession?
Yeah, I think it's guys understanding their roles a little bit. I think Nate Allen asked Mike today on the SEC teleconference if, he's seen Gabe and Adrio kind of fall into the roles that, that Mike kind of has assigned for them, which is rebound, defense, energy guys. And, I think Adrio missed a mid-range jumper the other day. I think Gabe did too. But, outside of that, there's not really anything that you could kind of pinpoint to say those guys had a bad game. I know Adrio also, he missed a bunny too, right under the rim. They could have just kind of dunked it and been done with it. But, I think the guys are starting to find their roles a little bit, especially Gabe and Adrio. But, as Mason got off in the second half, kind of got loose after halftime the other day, and I asked Jalen and Dan about him, and Dan said that Mason just took charge, and Jalen said that they know, kind of like Isaiah, if Mason hits a couple in a row, they know to go back to him. So they're kind of understanding where the ball needs to go at certain junctures of the game. If the guy's hot, you got to keep feeding him. And so that to me is a little bit encouraging. I mean, they knew to find Mason. I mean, he was 4 or 5 in the second half yesterday or on Saturday and hit his first 4. So I think shot selection is a big thing. This team is as inefficient as it's been at times. Taking good shots is always a good thing. And if there is a guy that's hot, and you got to keep feeding the hot hand.
In my opinion, one of the main factors in Arkansas starting to play a little bit better at the guard spot is the insertion of Desi Seals. About 2 or 3 games ago into the starting lineup, seems to me that it just seems like more aggression, more balancing of the floor, and just his willingness to penetrate and attack the rim, which there and again causes a lot of open stickbacks from Daniel Gafford. Also, too, the minutes that were divvied up on Saturday between Gabe 19. Adrio and Reggie both get 16 minutes. Talk about when those 3 guys are able to play balance, not necessarily, Scotty, from the points production, but, taking charges, deflections, and getting rebounds. How big is that when those 4 can bring that to the table?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, we know who the star guys are, like Isaiah, Mason at times. Jalen's always a big key in any game you play, and Dan's the obvious head of the snake. But I mean, you get guys, role players, to kind of step up and like you said, not even don't have to score to impact the game. And like you touched on Desi, I wrote on him a little bit last week. From the Auburn game through, I guess it was the Kentucky game, Desi was the only guy on the team that was a net positive when he was on the floor over those 3 games. So he had a little bit of an off night the other day against Ole Miss, but he knocked down another 3. It was the first time all season he's knocked down a 3 in 3 consecutive games. He'd only done it one other time, twice this season. So he's kind of reemerging as a little bit of a perimeter threat and another guy that the team's going to have to account for beyond the arc. So that's been positive. I really I wrote on Desi last week, like I said. I think he's just putting him in the lineup maybe alleviates a little bit of the ball handling pressure from Jalen at times. You never question Desi's toughness. Like even when he had an offensive foul, maybe when he was a little bit out of control the other day. But I mean, the guy is he's hard nosed. You never question his toughness at all. So I like Desi being in the lineup, and I think Gabe is kind of he's settled into that spot. More so on the defensive end. I really like what he's been bringing defensively the last 2 weeks or so.
It came out Saturday morning we were had media availability with several of the players, Clint McDaniel, Dalboy Remots, Ken Biley, Lee Wilson, and Coach Nolan Richardson. The question was posed about the name on the court to Coach Richardson, and Coach made a statement if he had to petition. He's just not like that. Where are you at, Scotty? Because I'm of the belief for all this man has done, it is absolutely disrespectful by the University of Arkansas to keep this man's name off the floor. Absolutely disrespectful. But where are you when that topic is posed as a question toward you?
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, I obviously think it would be a huge deal. Like if they wound up putting his name on the floor. That question obviously was asked to every single player that we got to talk to on Saturday, not just Nolan. Nolan said it. I'm in 13 Hall of Fames, man, and I've got elementary schools named after me, streets named after me and stuff. And, the players were very adamant that they think it should be on the floor. And, I have to agree and listen to, especially Clint McDaniel. Clint McDaniel came pretty strong the other day. And, he was like just kind of the overall encompassing impact that Nolan has had throughout his coaching career, not even just at Arkansas, man, but like at Tulsa and like the junior colleges they coached at. He's impacted so many lives, and somebody recognizing what he's done for so many people throughout not only his coaching career but his life. And I think it would just be a really solid, well-deserved tribute to put his name on the floor. And I think Mike Anderson's son tweeted the other night, or maybe it was Blake Edens, like no amount of paint is going to make the floor at Bud Walton Arena not Nolan Richardson's court. Just if you put it on the floor, it's just I think it'd be a really special tribute. But we all know that that's Nolan's court. Like he made Arkansas basketball what it was in the late 80s and early 90s. So I think obviously you should honor the guy that put Arkansas basketball at its peak for sure.
Well, Scotty, I know we'll be catching up with one another here shortly as Coach Anderson will be having media availability with us to preview tomorrow night's Vanderbilt road game. But as always, my man, thanks for taking time out on the Hill, and I'll catch up with you in a moment.
All right, sounds good, man. I'll see you soon.
That was Scotty Borland of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. As we said, Arkansas 74-73 winners over the Ole Miss Rebels in the 1994 National Championship celebration. And we caught up with two very, very integral parts of that win, sophomore point guard Jalen Harris and sophomore center Daniel Gafford. Here's what they had to say about the impact the 94 team had on Saturday's game.
I've obviously been involved in a lot of those, last-second plays, and some have gone your way and some haven't. First of all, you just described the shot and having to get it up high and kind of your thought process on that, just how good it felt,
Well, originally the play was designed for Dan initially. So once I seen Dan wasn't open, I dribbled over Isaiah. He rolled his foot. When he rolled his foot, his man had stopped playing and it just opened up the lane. So I knew, working out with Velton and T-Top, They always preach to me, get the ball high or it's going to get blocked. So I just went with my instinct, put the ball in there, and it went in.
And just how did it feel to see it go?
Pretty good. Knowing I've been in those situations a lot and I haven't really executed, Coach A still has faith in me to keep the ball, so it feels good.
Were you surprised to have such an open lane right there at that moment?
Yes. Yeah.
It's just how big for you all to win with the national championship team here and just kind of all was on the line today.
I mean, it was pretty big to have them here because, they kind of fueled some of our energy. They were here. They had energy for us. The crowd had energy for us. I mean, if it wasn't for the crowd, we probably would have never pulled this out because we had to feed off them. Because, they got loud at the end. With them helping us out, I mean, you couldn't ask for nothing else because, we got the win at the end.
The possession before Jalen's game winner, where Ole Miss had the turnover, it led to the jump ball. Can you guys kind of take us through that a little bit, what you saw?
I mean, what happened right there?
I don't remember.
It's like, I want to say, Gabe, somebody was at the high post. He threw a pass in, or I guess Gabe tipped the pass, or tipped out of someone's hand. Gabe fell on the floor. He pushed it out. Isaiah dove on the floor. So I'm thinking Isaiah's going to get it to one of the guards, but I'm taking off running, and Isaiah throws it straight to me. So I had to jump over Isaiah and catch the ball at the same time and come down, dribble. And Davis, he comes and tries to steal it, so I kind of try to spin off him, but I lose the ball. So I had to dive on the floor, so I had to give us a turnover. And it was just,
6 at the free throw line going into the last 2 free throws that you made. Did you have a little talk with yourself before you went to the line or kind of get your confidence up? Or did you say anything to yourself to kind of get yourself motivated when you hit the 2 free throws?
Yeah, I cussed myself out. I mean, it was, those are big shots. And in games like this, you need shots like that. So I just can't, with being one of the, main players on the team that has to score, I can't, just come to the line and go over when I have 2 shots. I need at least one of them. So, it just got real aggravating that, I work on free throws, but as much as I shoot them, they don't fall for me in the game. So I just have to get my mindset on, make the free throw instead of, if I make it, this will happen, or if I miss it, this will happen. So
how hard is it to kind of have that short-term memory where you got to kind of put that behind you and step up there again to make those kind of shots?
At the beginning of the season, it was real hard because, I felt like that I was letting the team down. But now that, we got, our confidence and everything, in play, with all that, it's not really that hard. It's basically just like next play. Like if I miss a free throw, we can come down and we can execute and we can get another bucket. And I can make up for that because I might be the one to get the bucket. Or I can just come down, I get fouled, and I go up and make two more free throws that I get. I just got to, have short-term memory loss because it's like real easy now for me. And, it's just like, clockwork for me now.
Both you guys, obviously, you had a 6-game losing streak, hadn't won in a long time. Just how good does it feel to win again? I mean, what's that feeling like?
Feels real good. The energy in the locker room has changed a bunch, especially to do it in front of the 94 team. It was a great feeling, especially right after the game.
I mean, with this type of win, I mean, it can't get no better than that. I mean, it's a feeling of relief because, we thought we let basically the program down and everything because, we weren't getting the wins that we needed. So we just had to come out and we had to play basketball and finally get us finally break that losing streak because, nobody likes losing, especially not us.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition. It's our March 4th edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. Demetrius, did you hear what I just said? When we left on Friday, no, it was the first one we left on Friday. It's already March the 4th of 2019. I mean, this year is going by really, really fast. And real quick, want to get you caught up on this week's schedule for Arkansas and Coach Chad Morris under year 2, second spring practice. So we will be able to meet with players, and Coach Morris will be available to us tomorrow as they practice. We're also going to have student athletes on Thursday. We'll be covering practice, and on Saturday, media availability with Coach Chavis, Coach Craddock, and student athletes on Saturday. So Arkansas will be practicing on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday of this week. OTH will be attending, bringing you all up-to-date information in Coach Mo year 2 of spring practice to get them ready for what many fans hope and listeners hope to be a bowl season here in 2019. I want to give a thank you to our guest, Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, for coming on and breaking down Arkansas's big win versus Ole Miss and talking about some of the things that they're starting to fix with that team and that young team, I should say. Really believe that the insertion there at Desi Seals has really started to push a lot of those guards and wake people up. I've always thought Desi had that Corey Beckish mentality. Also, too, want to give a thank you to our sponsors, Lindsay & Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also, too, in Rogers. The Baymont Hotel, located at 735 South Shiloh Drive. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. And our newest sponsor, Corey Beck's Custom Painting. That's going to wrap it up until tomorrow, as we're going to make our way over to the University of Arkansas. Coach Mike Anderson will be meeting availability with Coach Anderson to talk about tomorrow's night's road game against the Vanderbilt Commodores in yet another big road test in the SEC. But that's going to do it. Until tomorrow, it's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on Go. And I got to also say, and a big thank you to my guy, my home guy, Demetrius Johnson, my producer. That's it. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one.